Hello and welcome to this water drop on the basics of variable speed pumps and how to use them within InfoWater Pro. So who is this video for? It's for hydraulic modelers who are working with a variable speed pump. We see some instances where models are tried to force fit the real life conditions in areas where variable speed pumps should and should not be used, but bottom line, it's for hydraulic models that actually have pumps with variable speed drives in them. It's for consultants doing master planning, it's for potentially pump design, but again, this is focused on InfoWater Pro, and the workflow we're going to go through today is really just the basics and some guidance on how to use this particular feature within InfoWater Pro. And again, the first step is to check with your operations folks within your network to ensure that that pump that you want to model as a variable speed pump has a variable speed drive within it. Otherwise, it's not realistic what you're going to be modeling. And you also need to know what's the range for that variable speed drive to operate. Next, we're going to look at how to edit that pump object within InfoWater Pro to be a variable speed pump if that is appropriate. Edit the network configuration maybe to ensure stability. There might be some things we need to tweak if we're creating a pump as a variable speed pump. And then we're going to review the results, and including the hydraulic report, to make sure that everything is stable within our model. So first, let's get the basics on what is a variable speed pump. The short answer is a variable speed pump that is a pump that has a variable speed drive that can be used to edit the speed, the rotations per second of that pump to change the flow rate, really. So it can change that pump curve up and to the right in InfoWater Pro or down and to the left based on the multiplier that's going to be plugged into the pump affinity laws equation, right? So you can see this pump here, and this is one of the results. You can get the pump speed curve results from the report manager. You can get after running a simulation with variable speed pump. You can see this pump has a reference in terms of max, min, in terms of a multiplier there, and you can see where it's operated based on this little blue line here. These are the operating points, so it's kind of between 1 and just under 1.96. It's mostly operating at full capacity there at that design initial pump curve level there. So, but that's how a variable speed pump works within InfoWater Pro, and how the variable speed drive can adjust the pump there. So again, how to do this within InfoWater Pro. If I simply select a pump here, I can come over here to variable speed pump control. And so this is all that there is to the dialog here. So you can see I've set this one as a variable speed pump, and there are 4 ways to do this, right? 4 different control types. 1, you can set it not as a variable speed pump. 2, you can have it controlled by the downstream pressure of that pump. So in this case, this is how I have it set up currently, but I'm saying make sure, try to get the pressure here to always be 134, whatever units of pressure I'm measuring, in this case, PSI. The other option is I can have it controlled based on a junction further downstream. So I could select this junction, this one here, and say I want that to be a particular pressure, or I can have it based on the pump flow rate. So I can control a variable speed pump to be at a certain flow rate, right? I can also assign a pattern to this. If I want that pump to turn on, off, adjust that controlled value, I can do that as well by assigning just an InfoWater Pro pattern here. I can change, again, how far up and to the right, how far down and to the left I want this pump to be able to operate based on that variable speed drive. So here's where you really need to check with your operating conditions, check with your operators to make sure you've got the right balance of how actually fast can this go, how big can this value be that I can plug into the pump affinity laws, and how low can this be here, right? So what is that range? And generally we don't advise for this to be over 1 at all, because that would be the pump actually going beyond its design curve there. The other important box to be aware of is that if you have multiple pumps at a pump station, generally all of those pumps will be at the same size. Generally they'll all be the same standard size, and generally they'll either all be variable speed pumps or not be variable speed pumps. So in the case that you have that second option, they're all variable speed pumps, they're all the same size, I would simplify this pump station here to, instead of being 2 separate pumps with different links attaching to it, I would simply delete one of these links here and increase this to 1 as I have in this case. So in this model, I've actually closed this pump here. If I can select it, I've actually closed this one here. So it's totally off. It's not really in the model. And I've modeled it by basically saying, that's a variable speed pump that's identical essentially to this one I'm controlling, and that way you don't have pumps fighting each other, because that is one thing we often see when we're looking at different hydraulic models, InfoWater Pro models, that within that EPANet engine, if you go to the actual hydraulic report here, if I were to have multiple variable speed pumps that were both on, they might be fighting each other and leading to instabilities here, and you would see this reflected in your hydraulic report as it'd be difficult potentially to balance out. So, and those are just some guidelines for setting up variable speed pumps. Again, there are other ways to looking at them. So if I go back to my report manager here, you can see that pump speed curve, where it kind of operated at. I can also see, okay, if these operated in parallel, like I had them set up here, I can see when 1 is on versus when 2 are on. I can see the setting for that variable speed pump when it is on, and where did that fluctuate between those multiplier, that plugin I added between 0.6 and 1. And again, you can see some of the results there for when it was on, when it was off. Alright, so now you know the basics of variable speed pumps, or VSPs. There's more information, and a link will be provided in the description of this video on variable speed pumps, and a knowledge base article we include on our website. And again, these are great tools to be able to model difficult situations, right? When you're taking a tank offline, you still need to maintain pressure within that area. Again, variable speed pumps are not available in the base analysis engine of EPANet. So we're improving them in InfoWater Pro and making them more useful to you and better representative of the built environment that you are working with. So for more information, check out the link, and we'll see you in the next water drop.